Welcome everybody to another Voice of Nick show. We're doing more of our Posthomerica artwork. This time we're working on chapter 10. We're jumping ahead here because this one I think has a pretty good chance of becoming the cover. Welcome ladies and gents. We're doing our picture here. So with the chapter 11 artwork, we're going to see if we can get anything interesting for this. So what we mostly want to do with this one is kind of like housekeeping stuff. Like the line art is there. We're using the correct brush. What I want to get is any like final details. I think I'll do a couple of little things. I also just want to add a left and right section here. So let's take a quick look. I'm gonna put in a new layer. I think I'm going to move that to be a little bit thinner. Good. So, let's see what we can do with this. Okay. Let's duplicate that. We're going to rasterize this. We'll duplicate this rasterized layer. We'll merge these. Okay. Now we're gonna add in another little piece here. I have one more idea that I think could be pretty good that we're just gonna try. I have no idea if it's any good of an idea, but we'll give it a shot. It's another thing born out of my general ignorance of how to do like advanced Photoshop art techniques. I know how to use Photoshop very fluently, but the thing about knowing Photoshop is kind of like knowing After Effects. It's like you can know it for one discipline, but that doesn't mean you know how to use it for other disciplines. So in terms of like what I know how to use it for, it's totally different than what it's used for in this context. So we're just going to extend this. Oops. And let's do this one underneath the borders instead. Yep. Great. I don't really mind that the picture just kind of cuts off on the left and right. Maybe if we want to do something about that, we can just add one little extra thing here of like a black section. Hold on. It's killing me with this guide layer or guide brush. Yeah, like that, so that it just kind of indicates like, okay, that's the end of the picture. Good. Hey, welcome, Plot King. How are you doing today? For this one, we moved on to another picture. This one is chapter 11. No, 10. Yeah, 10. It says it right on the top. I can't even read my own file name. And this one is a lot more finished, I guess, than the other chapter was, so there's a lot less kind of to do. We're just tying up a few loose ends, and we're going to send this one off. I would like to see, at some point too, this is on the short list at least of ones for the cover design of the book. So we're going to see if we can kind of come up with anything for the cover. Now, the picture's pretty much done. Let's just take a quick look around. We'll turn the background back on too. Okay. There's some weird little splotch here from the arrow, I guess. At least it's the same color as the arrow. Yep. This is all done. Okay. Great. The picture then is done, but let's see if we can add a couple of different concepts. So first off, I want to see if we can just get a free texture here by doing this. Seems like we kind of can. And it's having a hard time processing this, though. But yeah, you can see that this gives us a texture in the back without having to do anything. And what I'm interested to find out is if we can do that for the characters easily. Now, this is also the kind of thing that might end up screwing us or crashing the stream, since we're actually streaming off the same iPad that has to process all this information. But we'll see what happens. I want to get rid of some of this and do this part over. Now, obviously for this, that would mean we can't just have the white be the background, so maybe there's like orange peeking through or something. So let's just fill this background with a color. Yeah, so now there's like orange that just kind of peeks through every once in a while. And the question is, does this look better than this? I think it does, because it just adds a little bit more of like a textured look to it. Now what I'd like to try is to see if we can use our fill layers, because we already made the fill layers for these characters. Use the fill layers as a mask. So I think it would be this. Okay, so what it is we basically want to copy what's in the layer and paste it into this. But it would have to be pasted in the exact same spot, which it's not going to work. How can we get just a quick and easy, let's see. Okay, that actually might work. This is going to use it as a, okay, so let's turn off, we'll just delete this. Okay, no to that, but, whoa, what did I do? Before we do anything, first of all, let's let's back this up. We're gonna create one of these. Okay. Now we'll do this and this. And how can we get this to I don't want it to be... There we go. Okay, didn't work. No to that. Okay, so we need this to be the opposite. So why wouldn't it work if I did this then? It is because it's the same color, maybe? So what if we created just use a different color for a second? Yeah, okay, that's it. Now, how do we get this to do what we want? So it's gonna have the orange unless, hold on. Okay, no, we can't do that, but so if we turn this invisible, it'll actually turn every layer invisible. That can't be right. What about... This is the part where it's very clear that I don't know how to use these types of layers. But if we could figure this out, let's see. Maybe if we could just turn it to be like completely dark. Oh, the other way. Oh, so this is putting a hue set or a levels layer on top of this thing. That doesn't work for me. That's not what I'm looking for. I think it's going to be one of those situations where we just have to do it on the computer, because I don't know how to do it on here. Unless we wanted to redo every thing, which we don't. Let me do a quick Google search here. How to use masks. Photoshop iPad. Welcome One Tire Fire to the show. We're working on our Greek artwork. So if we were able to take this, we should, first of all, I don't know how to paste in place if we're making a mask, but assuming we figure that out. Okay, well, we can kind of accomplish the same thing if all we do is make a really low ink level. So it's sort of just making the whole thing dirtier. But I think ultimately what we would want is not to, because this is actually turning it translucent. And you can see that that's starting to allow you to see through the layer. Yeah, we don't really want that. So maybe what we want instead is not a mask, but one of these layers again, but with black. Yeah, but how do we get that to do that properly? Oh, wait, this is exactly what we want. Why does this work? Well, don't question it now. Okay. I guess we somehow arrived at what we were trying to do. I have no idea why that is happening. Now, why is it that is... Oh, you know why? Because the black, it's not doing what we want it to do. Because the black is not actually... how would I do this? If this had a mask, and the mask was this, see now, can I paste this into the layer? Into the mask? No, it's pasting another thing. Nope, it's pasting that again. It doesn't paste. No. Nothing I see that's going to do anything. Okay, so this did not actually work. How is it that this... Hold on a second. If I took this and I made it 100% black, and then this was... See, we're really getting into stuff I don't understand. But if this was beholden to this, then couldn't I draw... Okay, yep, that's exactly what we're trying to do. Well, it turns out you just have to screw around enough. Nope, didn't work. Yes, did work. I was on the wrong layer. Okay. And all that was just to do this thing where we get a little bit of like a textured effect on the character instead of just being totally stark. I think we'll probably end up doing it on the computer anyway. But honestly, I kind of like the way this looks. And I don't really know how to do a lot of this stuff on the computer, so I would rather just figure it out here. The only problem is going to be if we ever burned in our layers or anything like that. Okay, so you can see the difference between Philoctetes here and Eris here, where Eris is like super clean, which is not a, bad thing, but I prefer this look. It just gives it more of a authentic feel. So what did I actually do? Okay, I created a duplicate of the layer, made a levels that turned it black, then put a whatever you call it thing on top of that. Duplicate, turn this off, make this black. Then put another layer, which we're turning into this. I don't know what it's called because it doesn't say what the name is. It just says this. I don't know how to, there's no text. Now, that's kind of cool, the black character on the black background. And now we're like revealing her. Great. Let's save this real quick. I don't know if this is going to be making the document really big is the only thing. Hopefully not. It's opening fast enough, so it's probably not that big yet. This can also give us some interesting opportunities for like pushing things into the background a little more. Not that they would have used such a technique to do that in actual Greek art, but we can kind of get away with it. Okay. Great. The big thing is that we don't want to ruin any of the details that we've created. Just because in the interest of adding this kind of like texture, we don't want to ruin any of our details. So let's kind of keep an eye on what is getting obscured. Like his foot looks a little too busy. But what this can do is kind of hide some of the things that we don't like the look of. All right, we're going to duplicate this. Make a black version. So excited that I figured this out. Oh wait, first of all, we got to turn this back on so we can see what color it was. Okay, that's why we keep a duplicate. Whoa. Oh, I have the eraser huge as well. So for this, we should be able to just, maybe we have to do this. That's why, because this still has, see, it gets a little complicated with all these layers, but I think it looks good. Okay, so now there's 2 of the 4 characters done. And since we already have this color loaded up, let's do his arrow real quick. Duplicate this, turn this off, make a black version. This was like 1,300 or something. Oh wait, no, that's the eraser tool. Oh, I'm glad this strategy is working out. Okay, so now we'll go into Paris. Same thing, we're going to duplicate this. Turn the first layer off. Create a black levels. Uh-oh, something's glitching out. Let's save it, just in case something goes wrong. Now, why would that turn green? See, it's just a glitch. See, this black version is really cool. I like to highlight his bow a little bit more than it is. Yeah, see, it's some kind of weird visual glitching happening with him, but that's not going to show up in the final. Okie dokie. It's going to be either this one or the Sacking of Troy, I think. That'll be the cover art for the book. So we'll try and bang these ones out faster, just so that, or not faster, but sooner, so that we can then try to design the cover. Okay, let's get the top part there. Great. Now, the pigeon or dove, I guess it would be. Duplicate. Turn this off. Hit this with the levels. Create a new layer. And that's that. Great. So this picture is now done. No, wait a second. It's not. We have to do the borders, which should be easy enough. Same process. see, we're going a little too much on this. See, there's a little bit of variation in here, but not too much. It's already a very intricate design, so we don't really need to create that much variation. It's just going to look muddled if you do that. And we're making duplicates of all these just in case we decide we want to go back. It'll be a little bit easier to do it. Good? Okay. So now, let me get rid of this thing about the masks. I'm going to make these two side sections. The only thing is that this process takes kind of a long time because we have to do it per layer. But I guess that would happen no matter what we did, because even on a computer we would still have to do the same thing. Yeah, I'm kind of concerned that I might have done some ill-advised techniques at some point where I merged the background with the foreground for whatever reason. And if that's the case, we can't do this to it because we're relying on having the background color as its own entity. All right, done. Great. Now, that's good. Picture finished. So let me go back to this real quick now that we have that idea, and we'll just real quick fix up that to match what this is. So I'm also going to open my artwork progress thing. We'll mark chapter 10 as final art done. We're going to put chapter 1 final art in progress. So for this, the things we want to do this for are Penthesileia's, well, for everything really. So we don't need to do it on the we only really need to do it on this part of Achilles, on the black, not the red or the gold, because those already have the brushed look. Okay, so now it's already black, but this is going to turn it true black. And what we're going to do is, first of all, why is this still showing up? Oh, right, okay. It's right. This might be a problem. I think this throws a wrench in my idea. I think what we thought was adding texture was really just adding black on top of another layer of black, which is not what we want. But I couldn't tell because, okay. That's kind of cool, though. All right, well, hold on a second. Let's delete this. So let's take a quick look at this artwork. See, I stupidly sat there thinking that this was... but does that really make a difference? So hold on, let's do this and this. We're going to actually turn these back on and put this into their own layer. Okay, so if we were to take this and we erased stuff off of it, yeah, okay. So it's not really doing what I wanted, but it might still be good. So essentially it's creating true black underneath the texture. But I think that'll still work in the picture. Welcome, Azur, to the show. That was cool how you added the texture. Thank you. I'm a little disappointed that it's not exactly what I wanted, but we'll see what we can do with this. Well, if this is the case for Achilles' thing, maybe we can do something like, is it this? Okay, yeah, so, how would we do this? I think for this, we would have to do a mask layer, I guess, that would then have black or white? Yeah, black. And this is actually just turning him transparent, partially. But I think that's going to achieve this effect that we want. Oh wait, this isn't doing anything. Yeah, now this will work. Yeah. Yeah, like that. So we'll turn this to 1 on the ink thing. And it just makes him look a little dirty. Not dirty, like aged, weathered. The only thing is it doesn't affect the outlines. I wonder if we could do something about that. Well, I mean, the outlines already have their aging effect on them, or this like sort of whatever effect that is. Yeah, I think most of this stuff works fine because we use the texture through everything. All we need to do is penthesilea and stuff now. Yeah, there's a few things here. So we're going to take her flesh tone. Oh, that's weird. It doesn't turn it black, it turns it... Whatever color that is. Ah, that's why. That's because it is... How would we fix that? Because the layer itself is only partially... you know what would work, I think, is if we rasterized it by just making another layer and then merging it. Did that do anything? It did not. Let's get rid of this for a second. Can we merge this with this? Now this is a 100% layer. That's exactly what we wanted, okay. So now this should, although it doesn't seem to, let's delete this and make another one, and I think it'll work. Oh wait, no, it's a 100% layer of a partial, Well, we'll see what happens. Yeah. It's still gonna do that. Oh, right, we have to turn this all the way to 100 again. Yeah, it still serves the same purpose. It doesn't really matter that it's not black underneath. The viewer can't tell the difference. See, we're getting a little bit too heavy-handed with this. We want to let the texture sit for a little bit. Okay, let's save it. This is a little bit bigger of a document, so we should treat it carefully. Now that's the only layer where this is really an issue. All the other ones, it's pretty normal. Something's going on with this. Oh, we put an overlay layer. Okay. That's good. Fine. I see what we did differently. What we didn't mean to do. So this then is the other layer. Let's duplicate this. We'll do the same thing. Essentially what we had done was, in order to create the color for the horse and the skin, we had basically overlaid one partial layer on top of another instead of just redoing the color. And it sort of caused a problem, but not really. Okay. Now we'll just do this for spear. Good. Yeah, I think we want another pass on that. It got a little bit too clean. Okay, now we do the shield. Let's see what we got with that. The shield has multiple layers for some reason. Okay, no, it is opaque though. Okay, good. Looks great. Now I just want to do one quick pass on this. So let's merge these. Or we'll make another one and merge that. Duplicate, make a layer style thing. Okay. Now, is that better? Yes, I think that's better. As opposed to... Oh wait, we can't show that through because it's... While it looks like it is... Yeah, you can actually see that the black is darker inside of this thing than outside. But I don't think that's that big of a problem, honestly. And if we wanted to, we could always change the darkness of the black. I don't know how to grab this. There we go. Not that it really works. Yeah, I guess like that would fix that. Good. Ultimately, I do think that looks better. We could check whether we like the other one better if we just do this. Yeah, it looks a lot cleaner, which I think is not as good. So let's put this back in here. We're going to do the same with this. But since the nature of the thing, we have to think about it differently. So we're going to duplicate this just for the heck of it. We don't really need to do this. And we're going to paint in with a very very fine or infrequent brush paint in negative space. And yeah, that's starting to do what we want. That's great. Okay. Pretty much done with that. Good. Yeah, looks great. Okay. I'm interested to see if we could do something with this one now. Now we're really jumping back and forth between pictures. I'm going to mark this one done on my artworks progress list. Let's just do one really quick thing, which is I take this brush, make a slightly lighter color. Oh wait, we gotta turn the ink back on. And we're just gonna use, I guess we could, what's the best way to do this? Oh, you know what we could do instead is use the opacity. And then if we just made this really big, I'm just curious to see what kind of effect this would give. And if it's even worth doing. It's really just making a vignette, like a very roundabout way to make a vignette. So it would do this, and then we would turn down, obviously, the Can we do some kind of screen effect on this? What are the other types of effects? Oh. I think screen's what we want. And then we might want to do a levels and turn the other parts a little darker. And this one lighter, I guess. Or no? Okay, so it could be that or this. Kind of the same, but we tried. It gives it a little bit of a vignette. So you can see that in the corner here, there's a difference. Oops. Between that and this. That and this. It adds an extra texture on top. Yeah, it's nice. Okay, great. So we have two layers. We have an interesting post-processing technique that doesn't even require us to go into the PC to use it. And that's going to do it for this episode, ladies and gents. Thanks for joining the show. The channel is called The Voice of Nick. If you want to see more, don't forget to hit the follow button, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Have a great day.